Thank you very much for the opportunity. I won't talk about footy. I'll jump right into the new season underway, which is great. Yeah, I've been involved in this business now for 40 years and had a lot of experience back in Nevada. We've put this company together in 2011. We've been involved as a private exploration company in Nevada, having raised over 10 million US and spent that on generating these drill-ready targets. The first words are important, drill-ready. The differentiation between us and other juniors in this space is that we've done $10 million worth of work on 5 quality projects that are ready to drill. So I'll just go straight to slide 3, if I could. Yes, the overview of the company. We've got a great board there. Myself, I have a lot of experience. I'm a lawyer originally, but been involved in the exploration business in both resources and oil and gas for over 30 years. Alan Wilson was formerly a senior porphyry gold manager at Anglo and Antofagasta, and he's there to help us with our big porphyry project. And the other guys are all very experienced commercial operators. Brett Butland was the chief geo for Citadel, which had the Jebel Sayed copper deposit in Saudi Arabia, which was a major success. And Brett's group came in as an investor, and he has done a remarkable job with our projects. So great bunch of shareholders, a lot of high net worth shareholders, former Citadel. Peter Woodford, who's a well-known in the resources industry as an investor, and some other really strong investors. We had 20 investors prior to going to the market this month. The highlights are we've got 5 assets, great projects, all ready to drill, and there's no central flagship project and 4 sort of stocking fillers. These are all potential company makers. Great land position, and we've made 2 recent discoveries in the last couple of years with our exploration program, which we're going to follow up. And early resource potential on the high-grade gold projects, and plenty of we've focused on historic mining areas where we know the gold is, and we've got some terrific past production on some of these historic areas, and these things have never been explored with modern techniques. Next slide. The overall difference is this drill-ready potential company making assets. That's really important. We've spent 10 million already, as I've said. The copper porphyry project we discovered, it was previously unknown. We found it while exploring an adjacent high-grade vein system that we've also got a discovery hole in. We drilled the porphyry, and we've got proved the geological model, prove we're in porphyry alteration, and we've got some good copper anomalies in the core. In that photograph is Brett Butland, our chief geologist, and the other gentleman is Dr. Greg Corbett, who's the world leading porphyry expert. He's done work on our project and rates it as a AAA rated tier 1 scale exploration property. The 4 gold projects are all high quality things that have had work done on them, and they're ready to drill. So we've got a good team there, and we're ready to go. Next slide. Why Nevada? For those not familiar with Nevada, it's elephant country, numerous 20 million ounce deposits, 3 main trends you can see there on the map on the right. Carlin Trend, 150 million ounces, huge 50 million ounces mines at Goldstrike and Carlin. The Battle Mountain Trend, where our Callaback project is huge projects, 20 million ounces and a few 15 million ounce projects. And our focus in the Walker Lane in the south is significant because that has produced a lot of silver and a lot of gold and also copper, and has been relatively underexplored. You see in the end of that trend in the north is the Comstock lode that financed the Civil War, 8.5 million ounces of gold and 200 million ounces of silver. So we're in elephant country, massive deposits, great environment to work. The US is, particularly Nevada, very friendly to mining. We've been there for 10 years. I've had a long involvement there. I've worked on the pipeline deposit with our remote sensing technology company that I had, and identified targets that turned into a 20 million ounce deposit. So it's been a fantastic area for us, and we think it's got great potential. Next slide, thanks. This is the summary of the projects. There's quite a big technical discussion in this presentation, which I won't go through, but people are invited to go online and have a look at it on our website. The Blackhawk Porfiry, that's a discovery we made. It's a tier 1 scale system. We've drilled it, we've tested it, we've generated a dozen high priority drill targets from over $4 million worth of data that we've generated ourselves on the project since it was discovered in 2018. And as you say, we've done a few test holes to prove the model. The epithermal, Blackhawk epithermal high-grade silver gold system occurs contemporaneously with the porphyry, which is often the case. These high-grade epithermal vein systems often occur with a porphyry. So we've got a discovery hole in that with 3.5 metres at 30 grams gold equivalent, with a great intercept. And we've got a bunch of targets in there that are ready to drill as well and are permitted. Callaback is our other project. That's in the prolific Battle Mountain trend, 100 million ounce trend. And I'll show you a photo later of what it's in precinct with 50 to 60 million ounces within a few miles of where we are. Warrior is another high-grade epithermal vein system. Again, a historic mining area, as is Blackhawk, the epithermal system of Blackhawk. Lots of old mines, never been drilled. We've got some terrific underground sampling, which was taken in the 20s, non-JORC, of course, but over the drives along at remnant ore is sampled at 90 metres at a composite of 52 grams of gold. So there's massive grade in there that's never been drilled. So that's our first drilling project that we'll be doing. Newpass is another high-grade vein system. A historic mining area, was mined up to 10 years ago by the sole owner, and that's got some terrific potential as well with immediate drilling. So that's about a 17 gram average production. Next slide, thanks. The raise here, I won't go into detail, raising 10 to 12.5 million. We've just opened on Tuesday. We raised a pre-opening $8 million from our existing shareholders and chairman's list, so it's going very well. The offer closes on the 31st of March. You can see the existing shares on issue and the use of funds down below. Next slide, please. I'll briefly touch on this. This is the big Porfiry project. The scale of that is, in that circle there, is 25 square kilometres of a world-class scale porphyry alteration footprint. Lots of old mines, high-grade samples all over it, and a couple of holes drilled and some very significant targets to follow up. Next slide, please. This is the target, the 3 priority targets that we'll be drilling starting in April, May. You can see all the geophysics, gravity, magnetics, all sorts of geology and data sets that we've used to generate these targets, and you can see clearly the targets generated there, which are type 1 targets. With the porphyry, an incidental point is we've had CA signed with 7 major companies last year, or actually before COVID, 2 years ago, before we decided to IPO, and all have analysed our data, and all bar one want to do field visits and look at our core, considering this is a major exploration opportunity. So there is a joint venture farming opportunity down the track. Initially, we want to drill 6 holes ourselves, so we don't give up that value, but certainly the big company's interest is very encouraging. Next slide, please. This shows you a comparison of the scale. That small box is the Resolution deposit in Arizona, joint venture between BHP and Rio, and the yellow line on the map on the left shows you the size of that within our alteration zone, which is the red dotted area. So we could fit that massive deposit in here 3 or 4 times. So that's the sort of scale, and that cross section is of a line of IP a northeast trending IP line that we did, and that's our big anomaly that we're going to be drilling. Next target, next slide. We'll skip that slide, thanks. That's another comparison. This is the Blackhawk Epithermal. Now, this is in the north end of the porphyry on the previous slide. Those red lines are the veins we've identified with geophysics. We've verified and also tested and mapped those, confirmed their existence. There's 22 kilometres of untested high-grade gold veins. The Endowment Mine was a good old mine that reportedly produced 70,000 ounces of gold and only went down about 50 or 60 metres before they hit sulphide. We drilled under that, got a discovery hole. You can see on the right BD 006, and the 5 metres at 30 grams gold equivalent was a really outstanding result. So we're confident that we can chase these veins. There's lots of mines over this that have mined, historic mines from the 1800s, not much gold, not much area mined. So very significant opportunity to develop an early pathway to a high-grade resource in this project. And you look at the grades on the map on the left, I won't read them out, but anything from 5 to 20, 30 grams gold, lots of silver and all of that. Next slide, please. And that's a cross-section. That's our discovery hole on the right, the drill core, and that picture on the bottom's a sample there that went 1% silver, 6 grams gold, and 14% lead. So it's a really highly charged system. Next slide, please. This is a Callaback Project. Now, this is in the prolific Battle Mountain trend. I'll just draw your attention to the photo on the right. That is significant. You look at the Pipeline deposit, which is southwest of our Callaback project on that big trend. That's a known trend. That's a 20 million ounce deposit I worked on with my father in 1990 on the discovery of that. And that is a really great, been a great mine, as have the Cortez system, 15 million ounces. The Gold Rush 4 Miles, a new discovery down in the bottom right corner, and that drilling is extending right up towards the edge of the valley there. That's 15 million ounces currently, but probably going to be more like 30 million ounces. There's 60 million ounces of reserves on that photograph, and now our project's right in the middle. So that's a good one to go to. Next slide. That's the work we've done there. Next slide, please. The Warrior project is another high-grade vein system, historic mining area, and a lot of work done. And next slide, please. That's the underground sampling. You can see the composites there, huge, 52 grams, 11 grams, 60 grams. Next slide, please. And that's the drilling proposed on that project. Next slide. New Pass is another high-grade historic mine, been mined up till 10 years ago, 17 grams taken out and lots of targets. I might go now to 24, please. That's a news flow, which will be terrific. And then next slide, please. Now, the key takeaways: Elephant Country, Tier 1 mining jurisdiction, experienced team, good discovery track record, got a great portfolio of projects, world-class scale porphyry system that we're currently testing, and lots of interest from the majors. And we're just focused on drilling and building shareholder value. The pre-IPO money value is 18 million, and we think it's worth a lot more than that. So there's plenty of upside for shareholders based on comparatives. So that's the projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. I appreciate you had quite a few slides to get through there. So
sorry about that. I missed half of them too.
There's a lot of detail there. We'll put this online on Share Cafe so that investors can have a look at it as well. Can you just give us another update on where the IPO is at, and how investors could potentially get access to it?
Yeah, sure. It's being managed by Bell Potter, and it's the application's on our website at sngold.com.au, and the prospectus also there that they can take a look at. It's closing 31st of March, going pretty well, so I think it's likely to close early, but we've only got a few million to raise, we think. So we welcome investors and viewers having a look at it.
And you've obviously got a bit of a history out there. How did you pick up this land? And given it's surrounded by some majors.
Well, it's interesting. The land position in Nevada is 20-acre claims that are physically staked, and they are therefore inexpensive to hold. So each claim costs a couple of $100 a year to maintain, and it costs a fair bit of money to stake them. So that means that the big land holdings like you get in Australia, big ELs, don't happen, and these smaller mining areas that the big guys haven't looked at yet are available. But we did put a lot of work into that, and we do know it pretty well, and we found through some experienced local geologists some good projects.
And you only touched on it briefly. What are the IPO funds for?
Well, primarily just for drilling. We've got all of our targets have been generated. We've spent that money. So what the investors will see here is an immediate and aggressive drilling program over 20,000 metres in the next 2 years of RC and core. So we should get some good early news with the gold projects on the RC drilling and doing core holes on the porphyry. The potential big bonanza is the porphyry. If we hit a decent intercept on that, then of course that'll go great. And the gold projects, we're looking to be on a pathway to resource with pretty aggressive drilling within a year. So, yeah, it should be some good news flow.
And Peter, just quickly, you touched on a JV partner, which was interesting given where you're at. Is that part of the timeline moving forward?
It will be. We initially looked at that as an alternate source of funding to the IPO, but now that we're raising the funds to drill, we're going to drill that ourselves and talk to the majors along the way, and with a view to upping the value and extracting a better deal on the JV, should we choose to do it. But we don't want to get locked into a JV that's not going to deliver value. It has to be on an aggressive drilling timetable so that we can realise the value for our shareholders on the way.
Great, Peter. That's all we have time for. Good luck with the IPO. We'll keep an eye out on it and have you back on when you list shortly.
Thanks very much, Tim. Great to be on.